So many of us, who actually uh, use, we all use Google Suite. So that's one. Otherwise, the Microsoft team, that's something which is going to be very important because Microsoft is providing that along with the Office Suite, and all of us will get hooked to it. That's another very important tool. But Zoom has really carved out a niche for itself. There are lots of questions, lots of things. I'm saying all these things because you might question, when there are other platforms, why is CWC doing Zoom, right? So I wanted to answer that question first, because you were, so I'm going to spend 1 hour, I'm going to do this over and over again. Why Zoom? Why not something else? Well, you can see the data, you can see the testimonials of Zoom. The guy who started, came in one of the icons. I had the opportunity to, hear him. I had known about him. He was with Cisco, tried to fix something which Cisco WebEx couldn't, and came out. And then, of course, they have been evolving. Video conference and conferencing and Zoom are almost kind of synonymous, right? So that's one of the platform. It allows you to do a lot of things, okay? And there are many others who are actually following Zoom. So today we are not going to talk about just webinars and meetings. We're going to talk about how to do many things to collect data, okay? A lot of people come to our meeting and do. So all this data collection can happen through Zoom if we manage it properly. So if you are asked to manage a Zoom session, you should be able to collect data, because that is what we are trying to do. Zoom is not just doing a meeting and it's over and thank you, bye. No, when you record the program, the recording becomes a very important content which can go to the mobile app. It can go to the, any kind of web streaming, okay? Through Zoom, you can also web stream through Facebook and YouTube. That's a big subject. We'll touch upon it very briefly today, okay? And then through Zoom, you can do polls, right? Online. Who has the time to answer survey? Yeah, we will do survey. We'll be putting survey links and so on. But Zoom, again, the chat box is a very good place where you can actually put in the survey, right? And we can also put the we can do a poll. So there are ways of doing poll. So now what we are going to do is we're going to start with how to get started with Zoom. So all of you are very important people to CWC. All of you are. That's why you are here, right? So each of you, in very strict confidence and privately, will be given the admin and the password of Zoom. Okay. CWC has 2 Zoom accounts. Okay. One Zoom account is basically only meetings. Okay, only meetings. The other one is webinars and meetings. The one which is webinar and meeting has been the oldest, and that is for the more important meetings. Okay. And the new one is the one which does only meetings. And the new one is primarily for support group. Okay, you may be familiar with the Wednesday support group of CWC, which is managed by Raj Shah, right? So from this year, we have dedicated that one. So if Raj Shah himself wants to manage it, he can do it. Now, one person who was supposed to be in this call, Rajiv knows her and we know her, that is Savani. She has a office call at exactly this time. She couldn't join, so she will hear the recording. But she did manage the meeting with the help of Soumya. And Soumya, thanks for doing an excellent job there, right? So she's done that. So you see that dedicated account is only for meetings, okay? And I will get to the point what is meeting and what is other stuff, etc. But before doing that, Soumya, what you will do now, everybody can see the screen, right? Any questions? Hi. Can you break the silence and tell us you can see the screen or not?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yes. Okay, no, that's important. Keep interacting. It's fine. It's being recorded. So what, because we can answer your questions live and interactive. Let's make it interactive. So, unless if something that we want to say, hey, let's take it up after the session, we can do that. But otherwise, pose questions. Okay. So this is the screen which you will see after you log in. Okay. So let's say I give you a username, our CWC username, which is this. Okay. Password we are not sharing now. Okay. Just username is events at. This is the username. Okay. So once you do that, the password is here. You sign up. So I will give this to you. So in your practice session, you will use this and you sign up. Okay. So yeah.
So some question. is the events account these webinar and meetings, or is it
That
only
is
the
correct.
meeting?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Yeah. We'll use only this account, and through this account, I can explain you both.
Okay.
We have no problem. But for FYI, I should let you know we have 2 accounts and we are dedicating 1 account for support groups. And I'll tell you why are we doing it, because everything is a logic, So there's a strategy behind everything we do, right? So it's very important for you to know that, and very important for me to tell you that, right? So that's why this session is very important and very comprehensive. Okay, a lot of your questions will get answered. Of course, you can ask questions after the session anytime that's there, but at least you know what is what. Yeah, Soumya, let's log in. Okay, so once you get, yay, we have logged in. Okay, so you can see when you log in, this is what you'll see. Okay, so events at cwcicc.org, and this is what you see first thing. Okay, now when you see the screen, you should first look at the left hand side. Okay, and just roll over. On the top you have profile, then you have meeting and your webinar. What does that mean? That this is an account which has both webinar and meeting, then recordings, settings, and see admin, user. So this is what you have. Okay, this is what you have. So this panel is something you should know. Okay, and by the time we finish the session, you will know most of it. Okay, rest we can follow up, but this panel on the left is very important. This is a control panel. Okay, that's very important. Okay, now on the top you see solutions, plans and pricings, and contact cell. This is more of a Zoom official stuff. We don't have nothing much to do, but when you become a real CWC Zoom person, you may pick up the phone and talk to Zoom, or you can chat with them. Let's sometimes we have been using Zoom so extensively that Zoom were making some mistake. They had some bugs and we have told them and they did it, right? Because we use it so much, and we even tell them the use case and they work for us. So and also pricing, and also that's the left hand side. We don't use it much, but to know why are there. Now next is schedule a meeting, join a meeting, host a meeting. Okay, that's one. Okay, and then why it's because the current, you see you can see the blue bar, that's on meetings. Okay, now put the blue bar on webinar, Soumya. Yeah, so now you see, now it's an webinar. Now I am so delighted. I'm so delighted to tell you that the entire calendar, online calendar of 2022 is here. And Soumya will just scroll. So she has already created these links. Okay, thanks and congratulations. So you see 13 events are online for 2020. See, January, February, everything done. All the links are there. Now these links are going to be sitting on the website. It's going to be on the mobile app. So Rajiv, when the mobile app is released, these links will be sitting there. Okay, but if you don't do this stuff, things will not happen, right? So now you can see the integration, right? Okay, and there'll be more integration, payment gateway and all that. So I'll come to that later. Maybe we'll not fully cover that, otherwise the session will be too long. But this is the way, so you create a webinar. So before we create the webinar, create the meeting and talk about meeting, I want to get to fundamentals. Let's go to the profile. This is a profile. So let's go to profile now. Okay. So profile, this is a Crack the Wellness Code. This is the name of our account. Okay. So you should know that. We had been an ICC program. This will change. Okay. So all those stuff, we will of course change the picture. We have a brand. We have a brand also. Soumya, there's a mask also for the brand.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can show that. Let us go scroll down now. So these are some of the fundamentals. Would you like to scroll a little bit? Yeah. So you see, these are the numbers, the contact word. So you should know this because sometimes there are some information. Not everybody all the time need to know that, but this is profile. So profile has all that. Okay. Sometimes if you have to do a profile change, suppose we put a logo here and we want to change the logo, then we can do that easily. Okay. So that's how it is going to be. So now what we are going to do is, so another thing. So see, this is very important. This particular account has 100 people who can attend for the meeting. Okay, but 1,000 for the webinar. Okay, I want to tell you, when more than 100 people attend a meeting, it is a chaos. Okay, you can't manage it. Okay, why? I can answer that question, but maybe not now. So meeting is 100, because what happens in a meeting? Everybody can see each other. And although the admin or the host can control the video and the audio button, I mean, there are issues, and particularly if you're not very familiar, you may not be able to identify, and it may be a chaos. Recording will absolutely be a disaster, right? So if you want to have a great speaker, interacting with people, and you want to use the meeting mode and you're not able to control it. The great guy comes, talks, gives a nice talk, but your content, your recording is lousy and it's a waste, right? So we have to be very careful when we are using meeting, how we are using meeting, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of a meeting. Okay, now webinar, we have thousands. Okay, what is the difference between webinar and meeting? There's a topic already, which is we are going to cover. I'm going to very quickly cover that. Webinar is where the host and the co-host and the panelist on one side. Okay, so panelist means, let's say Soumya and I, we are hosts. We have joined with the CWC admin. So when you join a webinar using the CWC admin, you become the host. The person who joins first becomes the host. Person who joins second becomes the co-host. For example, let's say Inder and I, okay, both Inder and I have the admin, right? The events, that password, everything, right? But it so happens that Inder joins before me. So because she joins before me, she immediately becomes the host. And then I become the co-host because I joined after her. But she can make me the co-host. There's a way of doing that. We can show you all that. Okay, so that's the fundamental difference, nothing more. Just wanted to say that. Let's go to the settings, because like anything that you do, iPhone, you have a setting, right? So here also you have a setting. So profile and setting. So you know what is logging, you know what is profile, now you're going to settings, right? Now this is very detailed, okay? So it is not something that I'm going to be covering together. But Swami, let's go up. So let's by one. So there are some security buttons here, right? Okay, it's like your iPhone, right? You go to the settings and you set, right? This is very detailed. This is very hats off to Zoom, because the more security and privacy oriented you are, or the more features you have, the more the setting options will be, right? So these are some of these things that is there. So when you go over this, okay, go over this, play around, you can ask questions, some of the things. This itself is a tutorial, okay? So when you get your password and so on, go in here, go to settings and go over. Let's keep scrolling, Soumya. So waiting room concept. Now, when you start a meeting, it asks you, waiting room, you say yes. What is the purpose of a waiting room? Waiting room is a purpose because suppose I gave you a particular link to join today, right? Okay, now we are doing this meeting now, right? We are doing this meeting. Now let's say Sachin has this link also because he joined that link something else. Now by mistake or otherwise he joins. He cannot join because I have to admit him, right? So we are in a closed room now. Okay, so this particular meeting, and today's session is a meeting. We have set up a meeting, as you can understand, because we can see each other, right? Everybody can see each other. So it's a meeting format that you've used today, not a webinar format, okay? And in this meeting format, we have a waiting room, okay? And in the waiting room, now anybody who wants to come, suppose this link is given to Usha, okay? And Usha wants to join, or given to Savani. Now Savani finishes the office call and she wants to join now, right? But I have to admit her, she can't just join like that. Why? One is decorum, because the meeting is on. Like, you're meeting on somebody, they'll knock the door, right? And they come in. That's one reason. One is a decorum, knocking the door. The other is privacy. I mean, maybe somebody has this link, because they got it from some other, email and they want to come in and they are not really, the people we would like to have. So we have to admit them, okay? So waiting room options. So these are options are there. So let's go down now. Now, meeting passcode. Now, there are options where you can do a meeting with a passcode, without a passcode. We'll show you that. Okay, similar webinar. I can set up a webinar without a passcode, without a passcode. What is the advantage of doing it without a passcode? Without a passcode is like this meeting today. There's no passcode. Why? Because you are all internal people. Why do you have to protect from you guys, right? You're all internal people. So, and it's easy. You'll say, come on, so all the time I join, you have a password, I forgot the password or whatever. So in this situation, I create a very simple link. And this is the universal link that you use today. And that is what we use for our internal people. And also in certain cases where, let's say I'm inviting a speaker to discuss how the speaker is going to present. So we provide this link. And this link is easy. It's always with you, right? You don't have to create a link. Only thing is you have to create a meeting. And that I'll tell you how you do it. Let's go down. So these are some of the things, by phone, embed passcode. So these are things, a matter of details which you can look, but I would say that this is something that you can personally go over, okay? Personally go over, and anybody wants, we can have another separate session on this because it's very long. This is very long.
So
And
now, one question. So these are the links that we are using currently, like the ones that are turned on or off.
yeah.
Okay, so just want to be sure. So this is the way it's set up right now.
Correct.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything.
So we don't have to do anything. Okay.
So like when you have your iPhone or any other phone, what do? You go to setting and optimize it based on your requirement, right? So we have optimized the setting based on our requirement.
Got it.
Right, Soumya?
Yeah.
This is optimization.
Yes.
Okay. We know what CWs require based on that, right? This optimization allows all this privacy, security, all those kind of things. And then let's go up. It's a very long one. You can see Zoom is like really, that makes Zoom very different from others. You see? Okay, so see, computer, video, audio, how to control audio, video, setting, meeting basics, so chat, all kinds of things, co-host, meeting, quiz, how to do quiz, poll,
survey,
all those kind of things. That is why, I would gun for Zoom, because Zoom allows that. I mean, obviously, if you have such a long setting, Rajiv, you can imagine how, how much features and functionality does Zoom allow, right? And that's a testimonial of that, right?
Hey, by the way, can I jump in for just a quick one? Because this is relevant.
Sure,
if two people join with the same login, they both are identified by the default name. So what you can do is, if you go to the participants, okay, and I just change my name. For fun, I call myself Roger for you. So you can, if two people join as CWC, you can click on yours as soon as you log in, and you say Soumya, I'm Soumya, or I'm Shailaja, or I'm Andy, or whoever, right? So you can actually override the default name that appears, and that's a good thing.
Correct. So you can see this list. Can you? Oh, no, sorry, Soumya, can you just show this participant list in your the thing? I was clicking mine. Mine won't be visible, right? Just click the participant in the bottom.
That will not come up in my screen. Let me stop share and just share it again.
Okay.
New share. Yeah. Can you see now?
No, not yet.
Can you see now?
So the participant is not coming. It's the same screen.
It's not coming. Participant.
No. Okay. Let me in the meantime, let me share my screen and show that. No problem.
Okay.
We can come back to you again. No problem. Okay. So let's do that. Now I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we see the big mountain.
Okay.
We can only see your desktop.
Yeah, now you'll see the desktop, but one sec.
Hey, sorry, I didn't mean it to cause a sideways. I was just
No. This can be what we'll do is we'll set up a no. Can you see the meeting screen now?
No.
By the way, maybe we should move on. And the reason I brought it up, by the way, is it's a fresh memory. I was on a IIT startups call.
That's a thing that.
No, by the way, yeah. So there were like 4 or 5 moderators, and they couldn't figure out for a while who was who, because they all showed up in the same room, and that becomes a huge problem.
Right. No, let me tell you that we will get to that actually when we go to the meeting. Actually, we are in a different screen. So Soumya, let's go back to your screen. So we are actually in a, so Rajiv will show you that when I do a meeting and how we change the screen. Okay, so we can.
You know what? By the way, it's a real simple thing on your Zoom.
Hmm.
You see participants list.
Exactly.
Go to
I
that,
was
click
saying
on
that.
it, and then if you click on your own name, you get an option to rename, and that's all there is to it. So you can type whatever, you know, I'm a crazy fox or whatever you want in there.
Mhm. Yeah. So so you have to just click the participant button. So what is happening when you click the button? It was happening with Soumya also. The Zoom is not allowing me to share that particular screen. That's it. You know. Okay. So it was happening with Soumya also. So when I want to share the participant screen, because it's a very different, it opens up another window. And because it opens up another window, Zoom is not allowing me to share that screen. So it's, you know, that is a problem. Soumya was happening, and I'm happy. But we can show it to you when we do a mock meeting, right? Okay. So that's a very large repository. I would call it a large repository of features that Zoom allow, right? So and we have optimized it, so you don't have to worry. Oh, you can see that now. You can see that now. See,
Yeah.
so Soumya, so what happens? Rename. So let's say I'm going to rename Inder, okay, and just rename her, change it to some name, okay, and you'll say your name is changed, okay. So whichever side you are, you can do this, okay. So that is what Rajiv was saying.
Okay.
And also, see, these are the controls. Now this, because Soumya is the co-host, I am the host because I started this first. So Soumya can actually ask you to start video if she wants to. She can, kind of put you in the waiting room. See what kind of power she has. She can actually put you in the waiting room, right? Suppose somebody is not needed, or somebody, this is not going to happen, somebody misbehaves or whatever, okay, then you can put the person in the waiting room, or you can remove the person. You can do both, okay. Or you can put a person in a waiting room and then invite the person later on, okay. Or you can remove the person for some whatever, I remember, Rajiv, we had a session with Tri-Valley. I was helping Tri-Valley. Soumya, you don't know that. I was doing Tri-Valley, and there was a participant who was actually making very, very, and it was like, there was some, luminary who had come and all this kind of stuff, and somebody just made some very obscene, and the person was immediately removed in seconds. Or it doesn't happen in CWC at all, but I'm just saying, or somebody, there's a problem, there's somebody, suppose, supposed to be in the camera, and the person keeps walking, or there's some noise or doing something not, then you can remove the person because the video will disrupt it and others are getting distracted, right? So that's basically what Rajiv. So Rajiv, yeah, that's what it is. So you can see Soumya's screen. You can pin the person that pinning basically means you can highlight that person, right? Or you can ask the person to start the video, right? Or chat means that, suppose Inder is part of the meeting, so I can actually click chat, and then I can, so what is happening? So this box has opened for Inder, right? So I can directly chat with Inder, although there are so many people, others will not be able to see. Only Inder will be able to see. Got it? So those are kind of things. So suppose I am doing a program for CWC, and I see a doctor, who is attending, right? So I can identify the doctor and say, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I can see you, welcome. Do you like to say something? And on heart, because you are a cardiologist, say, yeah, of course. Okay, then I'll at 5:30, I will bring you on camera. And he says, yes, okay. So you can do all that, okay? So let's go carry on now, okay? So let's go to the main screen, Soumya, where we had profile and all that stuff. Yeah. So we are back to where we were, okay? So now we are going to start a mock meeting, okay? So Soumya, start a mock meeting. Okay, so this is how you start a meeting, okay? So click meeting, schedule a meeting, name whatever title, and if it is CWC program, the title is very important. Brandy is sitting here, okay? So obviously, the title has to be, it's very important because, when you do a meeting which is outsider, internal it's fine, you can do anything you want. But outsider meeting, support room, suppose the topic is very clearly done. Okay, this is branding. So be very serious on doing this. Okay. Then add description. You say, who are the speakers? What is the theme? What is the philosophy? Now there is a word restriction, how much you can write, but you can actually put lot. You can put a lot. Okay. And remember, what you put here is actually going to go to the invite. Okay. So if I'm sending an invitation, or let's say I put something fantastic here and I create a link and of the meeting, and this link is sent to Rajiv, and Rajiv clicks the link, he will see everything. So it's branding. So I said, Rajiv, I'm doing this meeting on how to prevent prostate cancer, let's say, or say, let's say, intestine cancer. It's a preventive thing. You might be interested. So he will click the link and he will get all the important things. So subtopics, attendees, all the kind of things. And then you can say, what is the learning? You see, if you see our slides, there's a slide which says learning objectives, right? So we can say all these things. Description of the meeting, learning objective, takeaway points. Okay, if I come, what do I get? So you can put all these takeaway points. So when Rajiv gets a link with this kind of a thing, he says, oh, wow, I should be there. So it's very important. You're branding, you're describing. If this is lousy, a lot of things get lousy. And people just don't get excited, right? So this is what you do. And then the date. Okay, so let's say today we want to set it 21st. And this is the time, right? Okay, it's the start time. There's no end time. You just set up the hour. 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever you want to do. Okay. And then this is by default Pacific time, so you don't have to set any time zone. Okay. Now there's something called recurring meeting. Okay, recurring meeting. Now recurring meeting, of course, let's say I want to make this meeting every fortnight. Okay. Say I want to do a support group. Now this is very important for support group, Rajiv. Okay. Andy and Shailaja. Okay, so we are doing support group. Now support group, we are going to start a support group for youth, by the way. Okay. And we'll be taking help of Manisha for the support group. We are launching the support group on February 26th, right? So what am I going to do? We decide that we are going to do support group once a month, last Friday of the month, let's say. Okay, so we just say weekly, it's a monthly, once a month, and then occurs on day number so and so of the month. Okay, so 30th of the whatever, 30, so whatever we say. Okay, so once we do that, the other one we can also say first Saturday, last Saturday. So there are various ways of doing it. Okay, it is a fantastic tool. And by the way, we have done many of these things. I can tell you that when we started Zoom initially in the pandemic days, we did 4 sessions in a week, 3 to 4, Rajiv, 3 to 4 per week. And there was some, so every week. So we used to set recurring, right? And it can happen. And you can also do recurring for webinars. So currently, please be mindful. We are only looking at meeting now, right? So not webinar. So you can do the same for webinar as well. Registration. Now here you can use your discretion. Do you want a password? Okay. So passcode is this. But suppose registration is not required, then what will Soumya do? She'll click that passcode tick mark. Yeah. We don't need it. So no passcode. Okay. So if no passcode is given, then what happens is it will create the default number. Okay. So we have a default number like 4512, last 4 digits. So it will be automatically that. But if you click this, then obviously there'll be a passcode generated. And Zoom generate the passcode automatically. You don't have to generate the passcode. Okay. So Zoom will generate the passcode. And if you don't generate any passcode, you don't want registration required, then it will be 5412. And you can set your own passcode. If you type your own passcode, some branded passcode, then it will take that passcode. If you don't, then Zoom will automatically register. Any questions on this? Very important. We are setting up a meeting now. Any questions?
No, I think it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so save it, Soumya. Save. So once done, you save it, right? Okay, well, yeah, these things. So host camera. So host camera, you can always keep it off because host doesn't want to be seen initially, right? Participant, it is depending on what the situation is. If you can keep the participant camera on, off, whatever. Usually, we would like to keep the participant camera on, okay, if it's a meeting, but they can switch it off. Audio, both, telephone, because so that whatever we can. So mute now this is a very important thing, mute participants on entry, because when they come in, there's a background noise, then they don't disturb others. And then they can unmute themselves, okay? Now allow participants to join anytime. Now this we don't click. If we do that, then there will be a lot of disruption, right? But if they join anytime, we have to admit them, right? So it is the admit feature is much better. So we don't click all these things. Breakout room PSN. Now breakout room itself is a very different thing. I want to give an example of breakout thing, but how many people are here now? Me, Soumya, Rajiv, 6 people, right? Shailaja. Yeah. We are 6 people. Now I can, let's say Soumya is the host, okay, and I am also a participant. So 5 people, right? So Soumya can create 3 breakout rooms, which means in breakout room number, and she will name it, okay. Let's say we are discussing on behavioral health, okay, and she is doing a behavioral health session. She's a psychologist, okay, and we are all participants. So she wants to do one topic with a person on a particular subject, let's say social stigma. So breakout room number 1 is called social stigma, and Rajiv is interested in social stigma. So he puts Rajiv in breakout room number 1, which is social stigma, and Rajiv can interact with a kind of counselor only on that. These are very good for breakout sessions for behavioral health. Rajiv, just to let you know, we did a session for youth, and not just Rajiv, all of us, that during the youth session, we had parents and we had the kids. So we put the parents in one breakout room and the kids in another room so that they are separate. And then and there were 10 parents, and each of them had a lot of worries during the pandemic, how they handle their kids. And there were psychologists telling them, understanding them, not giving them lecture, but understanding them, and then giving them some kind of exercise, right? So same thing, then the psychologist goes to the youth room and say, hey, what's keeping you anxious? What's happening? How has your life changed? Tell us. So each of them would tell, and then she would give them something. So you can do all these kind of stuff, right? There are a lot of things. You can even, people do Zoom party. You can do a party where you can put people in different rooms. Now this is fun. This is fun. This can be intellectually very stimulating. This is very participative, very, very participative, okay? We do use it, and you can use it. And Rajiv, I want to simulate a situation. Let's say Raj Shah's support group, okay? Raj can say, hey, guys, I'm going to put you guys in 3 rooms, okay? And each room has different objective. One has sleep, one has diet, and one has exercise, okay? So Raj creates 3 breakout room, and one is called diet, one could, sleep, one diet, one exercise, okay? So you can name the rooms and you can create the room, right? And we can do that now with you guys there, but we're not going to do that. It will take time. Otherwise, I can put Inder and, Shailaja in the diet thing, Rajiv on exercise, and Andy on sleep, right? So you are all 5 of you are in 3 different rooms on 3 topics. And Raj has not tried that, but suppose he tries or something else, right? Okay, so these are very interesting things. And Raj can have 2 more counselors with you. Let's say you are another counselor, okay? Raj says, you know what? Rajiv is going to, be in the sleep thing because he has been doing a lot of sleep stuff, okay? So all those guys who are interested in sleep, please join this room, okay? Or the host can put them, and they interact with Rajiv on sleep. And Raj himself is doing something on diet. And then there's another person, let's say Savani, who says, well, I'm going to talk about the 3rd thing, right? So do you see the power? Any questions?
So far, so good.
So pretty much, so you're getting expertise on Zoom meeting, right? We haven't started Medinar meeting, right? Soumya, save it.
Yeah, just that the recording of the meeting can be saved on local computer.
Oh yeah, that's a very important point. Yes, very important.
But we select cloud always. It gets saved in the Zoom cloud.
Yeah. Why? Because Zoom cloud is safe. Suppose you are recording on your computer. There are two reasons why you should not record in your computer. Why? Because why should your computer take space, right? Why would you block? No, you all like CWC, but we don't want you to so much of space in your computer. So you should not save on your computer, and you should do it in the cloud. There are two advantages. One is it saves the space in your computer, right? Number one. And second thing, suppose something is wrong with your computer, you don't know. That's another reason. Okay. And what happens? It is so inefficient to save in your computer. Suppose Rajiv saves it in his computer. He has to, after the Zoom session is over, he will have to take that video and then he has to upload somewhere, and then the other person who's going to edit it has to do it. Why? So here in cloud, so after the meeting is over, what happens? Tushar, in a different time zone, when we do our event in the evening, Rajiv, that's why it happens so fast, right? He would, after the event or whenever he gets up, he would download the whole thing, do all the stuff. Devinder would edit it, put it in the YouTube. So it's a whole production process that goes in. Now you guys know that next week we are having a meeting on content. Okay, so some of you are joining. Anybody wants to join additionally, that we're there. That session that we are doing will say right from the beginning in Zoom, and we are not going to call it only about Zoom, but other kind of content also, how the content factory works, how the content factory works, where we are, what better we can do. See, we've done a lot of stuff, but we also want to improve. Nothing is perfect. So we're going to talk about that. So this is a very important point, cloud. So if you save in cloud, let's say, Rajiv, you are running the show, you run the show, and after you run the show, it's in cloud. You can tell, hey, Andy, can you go there and download this and, just give it to the person editing it? Or let's say Andy is editing it. So Andy doesn't have to bother. He just goes there, and Rajiv doesn't really care. I mean, he's done the session, he's host. So he done a wonderful webinar. He just makes sure he does a great recording, because that's important. That's his job, right? Or if he has a co-host who is helping him, he and that person will do the job. Okay, and do remember that all these thousands of video that we generated today is because we never fail to record. Okay, now sometimes what happens, with due respect to the participants let us down in the meeting format, or sometimes somebody just comes and talks a little bit, out of the way and stuff like that. But that apart, and we make sure that the speaker's light is good, the sound is good. Those are topics we'll cover later. Now, anyway, so let's see. Soumya has saved it, right?
Yeah.
I have one quick question. So the recordings that we make, who all have access to that?
So when you choose cloud, choose the cloud option, which is most preferred one, the meetings get automatically saved in this area. So anyone who has got access to the Zoom account, they can access the recordings as well. So let's say this is one of the recordings. This is actually going on. We are recording this meeting, right? So once our meeting is over, the processing recording will stop, and you can download it, or you can share it. It will give
you basically means that if I share this with all 5 of you, okay, 4 of you, Andy, Inder, Shailaja, and Rajiv, I share the admin. So all 4 of you can actually access. You can just admin, use the password and everything, go there and you can see. And where to find it? That is what. Yeah. So that you have to go to record management. Okay, so that's on the right hand panel. Okay.
Click on this. You can see the recording here. You can download the files.
Okay.
So what kind of recordings are there? You can see here: shared screen with the speaker view, gallery view. We have audio file only. We have chat file
also. Okay.
So you can download it, and then we have a setting in which the recording gets automatically trashed after 7 days, because this particular space has got 2 GB of limit. So after 7 days, it gets automatically into the trash box, or else you can also make it as a trash. And it always gives you an option that you can recover this meeting within 30 days, and then it will get permanently deleted from the account.
Okay,
great points. Yeah, great points. So basically what happens is the recording is accessible to all the people who are admin. So which means that the person who's conducting the show and the person who's going to edit the video are different people, right? Most of the time, and for obvious reason, right? So both the guy who's going to edit will have the admin thing, like Tushar has the admin thing, right? So I don't have to really transfer because it's extra work for me. But I have to have a trusted guy. That's very important. We can't share the account with everybody. So these are people who have been trained, who are trusted people we can rely on, and they would go there and do it because that's the most efficient way of doing it. And I also told you why it is so efficient to save it in cloud and not your own machine, right? Yeah. Okay. So Soumya, why don't you click user management? Okay. So when you click user management, then you have this group roles, contacts, and things like that under the admin, right? Then they have chat room management. Let's click that. So there are some channels that you can create, in the chat. Okay, if you want to. Okay, then room management.
Oh.
So these are kind of Zoom rooms and calendar integration. You want to integrate the calendar with Zoom. So these are some of the things developers can do as well. Okay, and these integrations are possible through the Zoom API. Now this is the most important, account management. Okay, now here you can see the billing also. See, one thing is very important. Soumya said that we have an account where 2 GB is there, right? So in 2 GB account, if we do more than 2 GB, then it will automatically get deleted. Okay, so to save money, we do that, because why should we store all our video on Zoom? Because what will it happen, right? Nothing. So there is a timeline. So our people have been told that within 7 days, it doesn't take 7 days. We do it in 48 hours. Okay, so that's the time. That's the process in CWC. We do it in 45 hours. But if it can be there for 7 days, and then you delete it, because if you don't delete it, then the fresh webinars have a problem, right? So already you have 3 webinars are not deleted, so you want to do another one, then there are stress. Zoom will manage it automatically in the backend, but it's a good idea to delete old videos and not use Zoom, because you have an option when you pay extra. So if you check that in, then Zoom will not delete it automatically. It will keep the video, but then you have to pay for every gigabyte of space. You have to pay, and that's pretty expensive.
So whose job is it to make sure that we download everything that we are creating within that time period so we don't lose the content?
So let's see, earlier it was one in all. So I was doing all this stuff, but then came Tushar. He was trained. No, Tushar was in India. So obviously there's a trust factor, right? So I was doing it for a long time, even after Tushar came. But then I think so then at some point I said, Tushar, why don't you? And he was doing a fantastic job. And of course he's doing it. So he does it. Okay.
So Tushar does it. So
Tushar does it. And now a part of the video, because Devinder is leaving, he wants to do something else. So we are not repressing Devinder, because Devinder doesn't have it. So because Devinder is leaving, and ultimately this will be put in the Amazon cloud or whatever cloud we have, we are now giving this downloading thing to Global Lancer. Because at the end of the day, it will be sitting on a mobile app, right? Why again, Tushar? Tushar will come in the chain, he will look at it, and Kamalika will also review the video. That Global Lancer will not do. Okay, that's not their job. Okay, so Kamalika will come and then see the video, all the reviews. So that is why next call that we are having next week in that is going to talk about the content factory and the process.
Okay.
All your questions will be answered, but you have good important question. Yeah, but these questions we are taking in the next call, because this is again the content factory question.
Okay.
Because Zoom is very large. You can see how large it is, and we are kind of at 4 o'clock, 1 hour. So this pretty much, and then recording management they have told you. So now we are going to show you how to do a webinar. Okay. So let's go to webinar now. Any questions before we go to webinar? We have told you what the meeting is, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now webinar is absolutely important. If you bring, let's say, Vivek Murthy, you will not do a webinar. You want to bring a stalwart, okay? You will do a webinar. You will not do a meeting, right? Because webinar is where you have better controls. What does that mean? Which means in a webinar, CWC host, co-host, let's say we have a marquee speaker, one of the leading practitioners, in the US coming in, and that practitioner comes and there's a panelist, there are so many other people. So these people are made panelists in a webinar. We'll show you all that. These people are made panelists. So what will happen is that on one side of the webinar, people who are managing it, okay, and they are controlling it. Who's those managing people? Host, co-host. You can have more co-hosts. When there's a marquee people, a great guy, so we have a lot of people. One person focuses on the chat, one person focuses on the Q&A. I mean, we have at point of time, we have done everything by 1 or 2 persons, right? And I would say that is one area where Sachin and I was doing to a large extent, and then Soumya. And Soumya does a wonderful job there, needless to say. So, so when somebody is managing, Soumya gets active with the chat box. So she keeps promoting the next event. She keeps promoting, she talks about things. She says, hey, post your question in the Q&A. Don't, because when the webinar is going on, you should put your question in the question answer box, not on the chat box. It's very distracting. Use chat box for, so those are kind of things. So webinar is really powerful, allows a lot of things. Let's get started with webinar. Over to you, Soumya.
Okay.
So schedule webinar.
Yeah, so the scheduling of a webinar is very much similar to scheduling of a meeting, how we did in the meeting part. So if you have any questions, let me know. I can explain you. And I'll just show a quick demo how to.
And let's hear Soumya. She has already created 13 webinars for this year. Okay. Okay. So she will tell you, and she'll tell you running. I'll chime in whenever that is there. Okay. And it is absolutely a delight to see the way Soumya does all these things and how she has evolved. So it's a great thing. So really, really happy for her and happy for CWC. So over to you, Soumya.
Sure. So thank you. So the way we schedule webinar, as I told you, similar to the meeting part. So once we do this, you see the same way we have to put the topic. Let's say let it be my webinar. You have to put a description. Then it gives an option of use a template. So what I have done is this time, just to make things easier, I have created few templates which you can select it from here. So if we are making a webinar for cancer, then you can select the cancer template, or diabetes, behavioral health, heart health, youth forum, women wellness, happy seniors, regular webinar template that we have for CWC and the youth. So let's say, for example, I want to create a cancer. So once I click on this, it will automatically give me a description and a topic. So topic, again, you can edit. Let's say I'll put it as a test.
So while she's doing it, let me tell you what Soumya has done. She has done a very smart thing. Okay. We are going to have 3 cancer sessions. Okay. Let's say, okay, 3 or 2. So this is repetitive. And whenever something is repetitive, if you set a template, then what happens? The template does quite a bit of job for you, and then you add value. And this is a great value addition that Soumya is explaining. Right, Soumya?
Great. Yeah, that's something I was asking you about today too.
So you can see how smart you see. Zoom is a tool. It's like math. So how smartly use it. This is a smart use.
You don't have to do it from scratch, and same way we can do it for meetings also.
Yeah.
But as we are using a separate Zoom account for having our regular support group meetings, so you can find a template in that Zoom account. I have not created in this one because this is just for internal use. So you can select the template. It will make your work easier, and then you select the date when you want to schedule. Let's say 1st Feb, time can be 6 p.m. and I want to make it 1.5 hour webinar. I will just change this. Time zone, I don't have to touch it, automatically takes my existing. Yeah. And webinars, we usually do it a registration one because we want to record how many people have registered. We want to keep a track, and depending on that, how our marketing should be. So that's why we want to keep the registration button on always. We don't.
Let me chime in. It is basically a policy issue, registration. Because webinar is the predominant way that CWC does its program, because it allows you to nicely video, do lots of stuff. Okay, that's why we use it. And it is where we really want to, I mean, what's the point doing? I mean, we have done it so for free. How do we know who came if you don't even know? So if you do registration, then I can find out either came or if they registered or not. I get her email and phone number. Okay, I know she's from which city, which country, right? So I get all that. So that's why it's just very important for database. Okay, it's a must. So Soumya, the answer here is that registration is a must, whether it is meeting or webinar. Only because of some reason, Raj Shah's meeting is something where people know each other. We have the database, because we are doing it without the registration. Otherwise, if we do official external meeting of CWC, it will be registered. It will be registered.
Okay.
But our own meeting, as we are doing now, it's not
Most
good.
don't need to be.
And webinar also, we can do webinar which is not registered. We can do that. But as Soumya mentioned, policy wise and for all the reason I cited, it will be registered. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, like meeting, you can set your own password. Those things Soumya will say. So I just wanted to let you know. Okay, go ahead, Soumya.
Okay.
So as soon as you select the template, any of the template, it will automatically click on these buttons automatically, because this is a pre-setting of the template. So that will automatically go. You don't have to do anything. If you want, you can just edit the passcode just like the way I did for the meeting. I want to keep it caps on CWC 2022. So that is there. Video for the host will be off, panelist can be on. You may like to change or anything. So here, as Som said, in the webinar form, there will be two options. One is the host and other is the panelist. So host is basically one who has all the control settings and who has started the webinar. And there is something called as co-host, who has got also the similar setting like host, but not full 100% control. The co-host will have 90% of the control. And panelists are those who are the guests. Like, let's say we are
just
invited.
1 minute here. I will just repeat what I said earlier, Soumya, to all of you, that the person who joins first becomes the host. Okay, let's say both of us. So that's one thing. The second part. However, if I want to join second and I become co-host, and the host wants to make me co-host, they can do that. Okay, and I can also make a panelist co-host, but that will come later. So over to you.
Yeah, so panelists are the guest speakers, or it can be any health hero or whoever guests we are inviting to the webinar, who wants to show who are the speakers basically, or they are going to show the presentation. So that is for the panelists. So a separate panelist invite goes from our end. So I'll show you later when we move down. And then audio settings is always both. And in the webinar option, just like how we had in the meeting option, we have here something little different, that is Q&A. And Q&A is something like we want to have Q&A session in the webinar what is going on. This allows the participants or the attendees to ask questions to the panelists, speakers, or guests. So this should be on. And then we have also enabled a practice session, which means
this is very important, very important.
Okay.
Which means whenever we start a webinar from our end, whenever the host starts, there will be a button which shows that you are under a practice session, which means the webinar is not yet live. We are behind the curtains. As soon as you click on end practice session, which means the webinar is live now, and the attendees or the participants, they can see what is going on. Your webinar is completely on a live mode. And this one is for just having the high definition quality video for screen sharing, because we invite a lot of speakers for presentations and all. Sometimes their network connectivity or something which matters, but we from our end, we want to make sure the streaming is in HD quality. So this will help in that way. And then again, the recording of the meeting, we will enable automatically record the webinar, because sometimes in hustle or in in hurry, we forget to click on the recording button. So this webinar will automatically start the recording as soon as we start the webinar. And then we select the save option in the cloud. Rest of the things we don't need.
Just one thing, automatic recording, like, so when you make the webinar live, which means people can see you, because in a webinar, all the people who are panelists and or host can see the participants. So let's say we have a webinar. There's 7 people. Okay. Out of the 7 people, there are 5 panelists. Okay. And 5 of them want to speak. So one is a panel chair and 4 speakers. So 7 people on the thing. And there's a host and a co-host, 7 people. These 7 people can see all the 100 participants. Let's say there are 100 participants, right? So they can see all the 100 participants. But the 100 participants, so cannot see, can only see who. Sorry, I'm so sorry. When you cannot see the participants. Sorry, so the panelist and the host, co-host will not be able to see who has come in. They can only see the name. Okay, because they are not on video, right? Okay, so when you are taking the videos, let's say I'm recording this webinar. Okay, now when I'm recording the webinar, I only get the screen. Okay, with the screen is, let's say, PowerPoint presentation of the speaker, because I don't want anybody else. You got it? Right? In a meeting, everybody's camera is on. Unless they shut it off, you can't do something. In webinar, you cannot see anybody. They can see the host, co-host, and panel if their video is on, of course. If the video on for host and panelists, they can see, but the panelists cannot see them. Okay, so they don't have to get distracted with the people, right? But they can see the participants can see the panelists and the host, right? And one more thing, there is a system which Soumya will show you later, that suppose a participant, let's say we are doing a program with 5 panelists and so on, and then we see Dr. Pankaj Vij attending the thing as a participant, right? And we want Dr. Pankaj Vij to be seen and make a few words. So we can have a control system, the host has a control system to actually make Pankaj Vij, who is a participant, to a panelist. Okay, so we can make as many participants as panelists we want to, but at the same time, you can also stop them. You can make them participant to panelists, again panelists to participant. We can play around like that. So there may be sometimes what happens is that we find some dignitary or some not dignitary, but somebody who's an expert, right? Because we don't deal with it. So expert, right? Or maybe when I say, I mean, let's say a new trustee who just joined the board of CWC, and he joins and we want to introduce this trustee, to everybody after the event, not during the event. We can just make and say, hey, we want to introduce this trustee, and he has done a lot of research on cancer. Okay, so and he's doing some cutting edge research on cancer diagnostics. So he'll just tell you and it's a cancer topic. So we want, but that person need not be as a panelist. What will he do? Staying there for 1 hour or 90 minutes, right? That person's a panelist, he's watching, joining, and whatever. And then she or he is brought over the other side, and then the person can talk a little bit. So that's a thing that you can do, because this is not a normal process that we'll go for, but I wanted to mention that. Over to you, Soumya.
Hey, Soumya, one quick question. Is this an industry practice that when somebody's presenting, they cannot see the attendees? Or is it something we are doing?
It's a default.
It's a default?
Yeah.
Okay, because most of the sessions I attend, the presenters are able to see. But anyway, maybe it's a better...
That's a meeting. That's right.
No. It's webinars. I mean, it's just like what you're describing. They're topics, and we're talking about how to raise money.
If you're keeping a video on, then you can see the presenter. If you're not keeping the video on, so what we advise is, let's say we are inviting 3 doctors for the topic to make a presentation. So whosoever is giving the presentation, we advise that person should keep their video on, and rest of us will keep our video off, so that we are not seen on the screen. So that's the default setting of Zoom. So whoever is keeping the video on, his face will be there, along with the presentation he or she is showing.
Okay, I got it. All right.
Okay. So as you when schedule the webinar, it will look something like this: the topic, description, time, webinar ID, and the passcode. And these are the settings. So what Shailaja asked me, one of the questions, like, how can we save a template? So if you like this particular setting with all these on and off, you can it as a template. So once I click on save as a template, it will ask you to name the template. So seniors, I have already created one, so I'll not create again. So this is something what it looks like, and then you can save it. And next time,
So
whenever
we have to mention the topic what we want, and then we have to save the template.
yeah, let's say I want to create 10 more senior webinars. Like let's say for January, I have one, then I have like couple of more webinars coming in for the seniors, and I don't want to create again and again. It will save my time. So I'll set this as a save as template. And then when I'm creating the webinar again, I can just click on the senior template. So it will copy everything. It's just a copy paste system. And I don't have to do anything. I just have to change the date and time, little bit of description, topic, and then done. Save it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Just to save time. Yeah. And if you want to edit this webinar, you can click on edit button. It's here in the down. So you have to scroll down and then edit it.
Yeah.
And you see here
one thing, in the edit, let's say you put everything here, and then let's say you're giving a nice description, whatever, the spelling, typo, whatever. So you can, that's the way to do it, because obviously at one go you may make a mistake or may say, oh my goodness, I made this mistake. So just edit it and do it. And then after editing it, save it and then check it that has saved. So you have to do that.
Yes. And here is the practice session. If you want to have a practice session with your panelists, the doctors who are coming as a speaker, you can click on this. And after the quick 15-20 minutes of practice session before the webinar starts, you can click on end practice session. Then your webinar will go live. So this button is for that. And then comes the invitations. So this is the link which is used to be sent to all the attendees and participants. So let me show you. If I copy this link and I paste it here, so it looks like this. This is a regular webinar. This is a regular webinar registration. It should look like this. So if you want to invite some of your friends or anyone, you can just copy. You will go to the webinar. You will scroll down. You will copy this link here, and you can send it through an email or whatever. And let's say if you want to invite a panel member like a doctor or a speaker.
Before we go that, one more thing. When you set up a webinar, let's say Shailaja is creating a webinar for the first time in her life, right? She hasn't, and she has done a good job and she has saved it. Then what Shailaja should do is to, like Soumya said, go to that link and copy it and paste it in the browser and see that it's correct. Okay, so that's the way. Before you share the link with anybody, you should do that exercise. Then you can say, oh yes, I've done a good job. See all the description you can see, right? Yes. So before you send it to somebody, you should test it. This is the best way. Always test it. It's very important. We are all human beings. We can make mistakes. But the best thing, that is the backup that you should do. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah. Very important thing Soumya is going to explain now, the panelist.
Okay. So if you want to invite any of the doctor who's going to be a speaker or anyone, so what you need to do is you need to go in here and you will need to click on edit. So once you do that, it will ask you for a name and the email ID. So let's say I'm inviting Somnath. So I'll say his name as Somnath, and the name that you are putting in here, please make sure that the spelling is correct, because this is which is going to be displayed during the webinar when the webinar is on. And then I'll click on the email ID. somnath@gmail.com, and then I'll just click on save. So as soon as I do that, an automated email goes to this particular email ID, which shows which gives a link to join the webinar on a webinar day. So which is very important, because that person, the panelist, cannot join from this link. This is a regular link for all the participants and attendees who are going to see the webinar. But if a presenter is coming or a doctor is coming or a guest is coming, the invite has to go from the invite panelist, just like the way I did right now. And the email ID should be correct. If it is not correct, then you can go again. If that person says, see, I have not got the panelist invite, can you send it to me again? You click on resend button. Or if there is a mistake in here, then you completely delete it and then you do it again. Let's say Somnath again, and then I'll just put my, so that I can show you how it looks like, and then I'll send it. I'll keep it as a save, and as soon as this is done, I will receive an email ID. I'll receive an email
from Zoom.
Yeah, from Zoom. So the invite looks like this: panelists for CWC Happy Seniors. I'll click on this, and then the guest will receive this email which says click here to join. So they have to click on this particular link to join the webinar as a panelist. It's very important.
So there are two different routes. You're saying that one is for people who are going to attend and one for the panelists, and you have to make sure that you have different links for them.
Yes.
Or different ways of joining. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it should look like. So I'll just go here and delete it, and then I'll click on save. Yeah. Any
and
questions?
Once you have the admins in there, you will start playing around with it. Huh?
Yeah.
And so obviously you are a tech person, so but it is a very elaborate, interesting thing, and a lot of things are very intuitive for people who have been managing tools like this.
And here in the last part, you
same
can
thing with your Shailaja. We might have a couple of sessions Soumya might have, but you can also play around. As long as you don't delete any existing webinar on CWC, that's very important. So it's important that while you play around, don't delete anything or don't change any settings or anything like that. That's important because we don't give it to too many people, only people who can really, and who, of course, we want to make sure that we always have a good team, who are.
Yeah, you are talking about me, right?
Yeah, I'm saying that anybody.
But I could not open this webinar with the email ID. Which
that time it was bouncing back. It happened with everybody. It was Zoom problem. Okay. I told you, don't worry about that.
Yeah. I never opened this webinar. This is the first time I'm looking at it.
No, I know. What I'm saying, it's not about it. I'm saying all of us, you should play around, huh?
Yeah.
See, whenever I say the only thing is that all of us should play. If I start playing around, I have to be careful that I don't change the settings.
Yes.
And if I do set other things, then I say by mistake or whatever, or I change the setting. That is important, huh? Suppose I have an admin, I change the password, then it's gone, right? Obviously. Yeah. So that is important, right? So if you change any setting, let us know. Even accidentally, let us know. And the other thing is that it's there are a lot of events which are saved, huh? There's a lot of data there which are saved. So when we do another training session or practice session, we'll know. And you do one practice session, you come across something, you can always.
I think one good thing, maybe if you have questions, is I would rather do a screenshot instead of changing. I would do a screenshot of that and
no, you don't need to change. See, it's all optimized. I'm saying accidentally sometimes if it happens,
of course, yeah,
it is not going to happen. These are just because we are giving you the password, we are not going to bother or anything like that. But I'm just saying,
if you have questions,
risk management.
Even if accidentally you delete anything, everything is like in the trash, which you can recover.
Yeah.
Here you can see recently deleted. So I was doing some testing. I deleted some events which I can always recover here. So and auto delete system, you can see here within 5 days it will be permanently deleted. So you can always do that. Same with the recording also. By mistake, if you have deleted a recording, you can recover. With meetings also, if you have deleted anything, you can always you will see here option to.
And, so guys, we actually spent good time. Thanks for pitching, but I'm sure you found this very valuable. It's getting closer to 90 minutes, but we covered a lot. It takes time, as you can see. We have been, our pace has been good, and I think at the same time we could answer some of the questions. I want to tell you that we've covered almost everything. So what I'll just go over what we covered very quickly, and then Soumya will now tell you how to download the participant data. She'll tell you about chat and Q&A, how to manage that, and the poll. So that she will do. But before that, let me tell you what we covered. So we covered Zoom basics, video conferencing essentials, why Zoom, what are some of the objectives, both in terms of managing things, marketing, automation, interaction, data, analytics, all the stuff, right? So that's the purpose, not just how to run Zoom session. We told you that, we covered the session that way. How to manage account, logging in, all those kind of stuff, account, how many accounts CWC has, etc. Profiling, branding, and settings, right? So you see how it is branded. We'll also be changing one of the pictures. It was kept that way, Soumya, you know why? Because we're also doing some program with Tri-Valley, and they used our time. They didn't have a thing, and it remained like that.
Right now then.
You remember? Gautam used to put the Tri-Valley and has to do it for them, right? Because at that time Tri-Valley didn't have an account, right? So we'll put the CWC logo here, and that's it.
I will do it right away.
It's not going to, because the main brand is, you saw what you get, right? You get that nice mask that we have created, So we get that because the other account has this already there, okay? Well, Soumya, the ICC program, there's a banner without the ICC program. I'll give it to you, okay? We have a huge array of nice, which has come up. One for the chapters, I'll send you. We've got very good brands. This logos created separately with the new CWC,
Okay.
You'll be excited to see that.
Always
Yeah.
updated in the profile. You could just go to the profile, click on this, and change it, just like a wall or something.
Yeah.
So this may be off a little bit, but speaking of branding, when especially we hold a meeting and we have talking to external parties, board of advisors or potential board of advisors and all that, I would want somebody, like admin probably can set up where you have the logo. Can we use the logo as the background only all the time by default?
No. This has to be your computer virtual setting,
Yeah. I think it is enabled by, but I'm just saying.
So what you can do is,
yeah,
you can tell all the people, like you did it with Naren, that Naren, this is the logo. You go to your virtual background.
Yeah. Okay. So that works. Hopefully.
Of course, you can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
please try to understand.
Inder, you are also here, so you probably know how to. I sent you the email.
Okay,
Don't
all right.
delete-
No, I have
don't
not
delete-
done that yet, so it's good if you have done it.
Don't
Send me
delete,
the instructions
because
and
I
I can
want to
give it
show
to you.
some recording management, and I want to show some.
Yeah. Okay.
I want you to start a meeting also. Or you can't start a meeting because one meeting is going on, so we can't do that anyway.
Yeah.
But this is something we'll show you, because one thing that we cannot show you live is that how to do a Facebook and YouTube streaming. We can't do it, show you live. For that, it can be done with one person, because the other person has to be on the other side like a participant, right? And then you can see that I am streaming from here, and you can go to YouTube and with the link and see it, right? So we can do that because we need another person on the other side, actually. Right.
So can we also do, I don't know, maybe that's a different topic, but analytics as to how many people attended and all, is that something that Zoom provides, or do we do that on our own?
No. You can. We are coming to that. We are
Okay.
going to see. We have covered everything we wanted to. Okay. What is left is polling. How to do polls. Okay. And how to do automated marketing. Okay. How to send reminders. All those kind of automated marketing stuff. And we are also going to tell you how to download a spreadsheet, a CSV file of all people who attended, and all people who registered one, all the people who registered and attended, all the people who attended, how long they were there, when did they come, when they left. So that's something Soumya is going to show you first, and then she'll tell you about polling, chat, Q&A, etc.
Okay.
And then finally, I'll tell you that once you end the meeting or a webinar, how do you collect the data? That's a very important thing, and that will be our last topic. So over to you, Soumya, please.
Okay, so quickly I'll just go to the webinar and I'll show you where you can check the registrations. So you can check the registrations here in the down, how many people have registered for this program, and every program will have different registrations because the links are different. So yeah, this is where you can have a look what's the status. And going to the email settings, so as soon as you select the template, this thing will be automatically done because I have already saved it as a template and it's all there.
For once again, that's very smart. Yeah. And then you can do some value addition for when the event come closes and all that, right? Yeah.
Right. So reminders will go for like, 1 hour before, 1 day before. So these all settings are already there in each of the templates. And in
And
each
you see this, how marketing happens automated. 1
Yeah.
hour, 1 day, 1 week.
Yeah, good.
branding is also there in the templates. So this logo, the banner is there, the ICC.
Specially created for Zoom. Yeah.
is there. So everything is there. There are polls.
And there's a
if we
QR
need
code of
to
our
create
website also there.
polls,
You can see that.
If
Yeah,
we need to
noticed.
create polls for any of the webinars, you can create it here. Maybe we can do some other time because this is entirely different and we don't do polls for every program. It's very specific or some engagement session, then only we add polls. We can also do survey sessions during the webinar, and Q&A is automatically enabled. So it's here, you can see Q&A is there. So we don't have to do anything here, just that participants can ask questions directly to the panelists. Yeah.
Hey,
So
Soumya, one quick question. You said that you have done polling in the past.
yeah.
Do a lot of people respond to your polling, or is it
Oh,
less?
yeah. They have to. It's all online. They have to.
No, what do you mean by they
Yeah,
have to? They
webinar
can
is-
sign
They have
up.
to. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Okay. So Soumya, I'll just phrase it. So we will be doing more poll and survey this year, Soumya. Huh? That's the whole thing because, we're going to capture
It is
more
just
data.
like an offline poll, how you create it on Facebook, Twitter,
Right.
anywhere. Here also you select a question, you give a choice and then save it. So once your webinar is on, you can like start the poll, and attendees who are there, they can select the choices. So this is something very similar.
It'll flash on the screen, so they have to just respond. It's very, very, very. It's a fun, right? So you're attending a webinar, and CWC asks does a poll. So the poll question will be there. So you have to click. All you have to do is click. It's like a game. It's a very gamified environment.
So this is while the presentation is going on, right? But if you do sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. You're saying something. Sorry.
No, so there are a couple of things, right? I've seen people respond a lot to polls when it's going on. So for example, when the presentation is going on, there's a poll for the audience that we are talking about cancer, and has any of you experienced this? A lot of people would respond right away. But if it's a poll at the end of the session that says, what did you think of this? How, and 5 questions, how do you improve? Do you get response for those? Have you tried that? And have you, if so, have they been successful?
One sec. When you mean after the session is over, do
Yes.
you mean the Zoom session is over and then you do the poll?
No, so just at the end, you can ask people before you sign off, can you answer these 5 questions?
You can do the poll anytime. It's your choice.
So do you, from your experience with all
We've done
these
both.
audiences?
For the youth program, it has been like very spontaneous. Sometimes it is the end. It all depends on us. Poll is a tool. Okay. And you can be as creative as you want. Let's say you lead the women program in there, right? So you design the question, you decide when you want to do it. You can be as creative. We have done all the stuff. If you ask me, I mean, over the years where we have done all kind of stuff, but again, there is no end. There is nothing called perfection, right? So we are all.
But do people respond, or do they just find it an irritant?
Yeah, because they're sitting there. And you are engaging them, right? Okay, they're listening to you. Okay, that's the best way to engage. Yeah.
Okay.
We have even done that. Okay, if you do a membership, how much will you pay per year? And people have responded how much they'll pay.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay. Now to download, coming back to the webinar, and even for the meetings also, if you want to download the registration list or the poll, the survey, Q&A, whatsoever, you can just go to the account management, and here you can see reports. So click on reports, and this will give you options. like this is for view meeting participants. This is meeting registration, webinar registration. So let's say I want to go for webinar. So what I need to download, it gives me an option. Let's say I want registration report, or let's say I want only the Q&A report or the poll report, survey report. Whatever I select, it will ask you for a date. Let's say if we have done something in the past,
Because you have done many webinars, no? So which one you want to do? So it will go to that one and download.
So December 18, we did a wellness support group session. 35 registrations will be there, were there. So I just click on this and then I will click on a generate CSV report. So once I do this, the file will be downloaded to my device.
Use all registrants. Approved registrants is not required because usually we don't disapprove anybody.
Yeah. Similarly, I can, let's say if I only want the attendee report. Attendee report is something like how many people attended the webinar.
Samia, the attendee will have the registration as well as attendee both. That's a very good one.
Yes, it's
So
just an attendance.
Yeah, I would recommend that when you're downloading, just to avoid any confusion, always get the attendee. Attendee will have all the registration people, all the people who registered, all the people who attended, and also the attended people, when did they join, when did they go out, how long they were. So the session timing for each of them will be there. Okay. And the Q&A report and also the chat, whatever chat, So somebody has given us very good remark. Oh, great session. This speaker was great. And you can also ask some questions in the chat box. How was the speaker? How was it? And say, so you can download all that and use the chat thing for a testimonial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similarly, you can do it for the meetings also. If you go to the meetings, you can select registration, poll, survey, and yeah.
So I just want you to make a note very specifically that you can download registrant and attendee data. You can attend poll data, you can attend survey data, you can collect chat data, you can collect question answers data. All the questions were asked, sometimes very good questions, and those questions can be put in the mobile app, right? Okay, FAQs, okay, on cancer, FAQ on this, right? And some, doctors, eminent doctors answer the question, right? So they can be very interesting. So they're very good data. And the other data that you collect is the video, right? So you should have a checklist. I am, let's say, so Inder has led this behavioral health program on February 19th, right? So your checklist will say, hey, the session is over. So I need to download the chat and all that stuff. And I'll do my analysis and use it for the next program or whatever I want to do. Okay. Inder will make sure that, whoever attended gets an automated thank you. You don't have to send an email. Okay. The Zoom will automatically. So you write a nice email. Soumya has customized it, but you should go there and add your value. Okay. Your spin to it and say, we are so delighted that you came. This speaker was great, or whatever. And also you can say, thank you for attending. We are going to do a poll about the event. What did you think? And we can do a small survey there. Andy, got it? Andy?
He's probably muted.
No, I got it. Yeah, I mean, so
there are many ways actually. The wonderful survey that you created can actually be sent out to so many ways that you can do that during the live event. Even you can do it after the live event.
Of course.
After the live event also.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way where, if you have seen, they just embed one question, and if you answer the question, then it'll land them at the full survey questionnaire. So I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
Right. So that covers a checklist of all the data. Yeah. So I told you we'll end this session with collecting all the data that we can collect. So you can collect survey, you can survey poll, you can collect a chat, you can collect question answer, you can collect all the people who attended by the time, etc. And you can collect the video. Okay. So if all those things are nicely done, your job is done, everything is done, the session went well. But even the session where the video recording is not good, you missed out the, people who participate and tell you, we have done it thanks to us, thanks to Soumya, people like Soumya, who meticulously does that. Okay, knowledge was transferred, things were done, and Soumya has done an excellent job all through that she has been there. Okay, and this is a matter of responsibility and trust. And please bear in mind, we are not doing 150 events, 13 on-sites event in 2022. After this session, I want to say it has to be really top class, really top class. Okay, and Soumya, as you can imagine, we'll be doing more poll. We have to really strategize. Okay, we really have to strategize. It's not about doing an event, another event, right? So how much data we can collect, how much we can do, how do we market? Okay, all those stuff, right? So 13 is not a big deal all through the year. Okay, and we will tell you how simple it is. Okay, but the question is not the simplicity and not the thing. The question is, today's session is all about technology, how to leverage a technology and the tool. It is about management. It is about strategy. It is about branding. It is about marketing, automation, and it is also about operations. If you are smartly managing your Zoom, your efficiency of operation goes up. Okay, and only thing that I want to tell you is that you can also live stream. Now, I want to mention one thing before we go. Okay, that let's say September 25th, we are doing our mega session, right? Now, the whole thing will be live. So what will happen is that while the session is happening on site on the stage, right, in various rooms, so we'll have video cameras. There are Zoom compatible cameras fitted to a computer. It will have all the thing recorded live, and it can be done live stream. Okay, so people who cannot come, we can charge them, let's say $20, and people who come because they go to eat and other things, so we'll charge them more, and we can even do that. Okay, so on-site doesn't mean that Zoom is kind of totally kind of neglected. We can use Zoom even for, and we have done Zoom streaming before the pandemic. We have done Zoom streaming before the pandemic for on-site program. We did one program on allergy long time back, and we had live streamed that using Zoom. Yeah, so that is all there. We'll talk a little bit about Facebook and YouTube, because sometimes what happens, we are doing a program where, Andy, let's say 100,000 people will join. Okay, our webinars allow 1,000, right? Isn't it? So 1,000 is fine, and we get 100,000 people joining. Then you can just live stream that on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, or one or two, both. Okay, how to do that is something which will also involves Tushar, and we'll do a session on that separately. That itself is something, but that's fun. That's fun, because live streaming in YouTube and Facebook can be done for on-site thing, right? Let's say on-site somebody is doing something, and then we want to show it to the whole world, or live on YouTube. We'll do it. And there are also software. There's a software that we have identified. Tushar is Soumya, I want to tell you about it also. The software which Andy also knows, which True North has been using, Andy. So this software, basically what it allows is that while the live video is going on, we are recording it, right, Soumya? Live recording. Live, you can start in live recording, you can actually edit. So it's very fast. You get my point? So a lot of people say, oh, the webinar is over, take the recording. How do they do that? Right? They are recording, they are editing it online.
Are you talking about the StreamYard that I sent to Tushar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that has been researched by us. Andy.
Okay, cool.
It has some limitations. And
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are others also.
I have a store
but that's something that we'll also be doing, Soumya, because what happens is that, let's say in place of Devinder, we have Global Lancer doing this. Okay, so we can have somebody in Global Lancer, Soumya, who can actually edit this live. Okay, see, they have people 24/7, right? So for them it doesn't matter, right? Suppose we have a call center. Imagine the future, right? Mobile app is there. There's a call center. Okay, so call center can also attend at various points of time. So it's something, and we can get one person, pay one person for the call center, and the center person should also have the ability to do the video recording and editing. Got it?
Yeah, they can add titles and call for action and all that stuff.
Yeah, because if you are getting $100 from 5,000 members, you are earning 5 million. will you not spend for a call center guy to do this customer support and online video editing? Will you not?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So that's the future. So today's session is Shailaja. It's not just how to learn it. That's why I said in the beginning. It's also to provoke us to think. We are always kind of striving excellence. You see how Soumya is innovating, right? Template, this and that, right? So our culture should be where we keep innovating and we keep on discovering new things. It's not about Zoom. It's about how to use Zoom as a tool in the best interest of CWC and the community that we serve. Okay. So having said that, I think thank you for all the attention and being with us for, I would say, 115 minutes. Not 115 minutes, is it 90 and 15?